What if the peace you're searching for isn't outside of you, but buried deep within your own understanding? In the rush of our daily lives, peace is often portrayed as something external, a destination you can arrive at if you just work hard enough, buy the right things, or achieve enough success. The advertisements, social media influencers, and motivational speakers all promise it. Yet, despite our best efforts to obtain it, peace often remains just beyond our grasp. In a world filled with endless distractions, constant desires, and societal pressures, the search for inner peace can feel like an impossible quest. We live in a culture where happiness is frequently linked to more possessions, more achievements, more recognition. Our minds are constantly preoccupied, bouncing between work, relationships, and the pressure to keep up with the ever-changing standards around us. So why does true inner peace seem so elusive? We find ourselves trapped in a paradox. The more we strive for peace, the more restless we become. The more we focus on external achievements, the further away the feeling of contentment seems. We are told that peace is the ultimate goal, yet the very methods we use to attain it often take us further away from the inner stillness we seek. What is it that keeps us from experiencing the calm and tranquility we desire? Is it our circumstances, or is it something deeper? The real barrier between you and the peace you desire might not lie in your circumstances, but within your own understanding and relationship with life. It's a matter of perspective, and while we're told that peace comes from achieving success or accumulating wealth, the philosopher Epicurus offers a radically different view, a view that might hold the key to unlocking the peace that's been so elusive. Epicurus was a Greek philosopher who lived over 2,000 years ago, and his teachings about happiness and peace of mind still resonate today. He proposed that peace, or ataraxia, comes not from external possessions or status, but from mastering the inner workings of our mind. In his philosophy, the pursuit of pleasure, true, natural pleasure, is the path to peace, and it is a much simpler, more grounded process than modern society might have us believe. Epicurus argued that the greatest obstacle to peace is not the external world, but our relationship with it, the way we let our desires and fears dictate our sense of self-worth and happiness. He taught that we are often enslaved by unnecessary desires and the pursuit of things that bring only temporary satisfaction. In essence, our minds create turbulence, not the world around us. This tension between the external world and our internal peace is where we begin our journey. We will explore why peace is so difficult to achieve, and how, by looking inward rather than outward, we can begin to unlock a state of tranquility that's both fulfilling and lasting. But the question still remains, what is the real barrier between you and the peace you desire? Why is peace so difficult to attain? In a world where we are constantly told that happiness is just one more achievement away, the pursuit of peace has become a fragmented, elusive goal. We are surrounded by a culture that places value on external markers of success, money, status, and possessions. From the moment we are born, we are taught to chase after these symbols, believing that they will bring us happiness. But is this really the case? Our first obstacle to peace lies in the very structure of society. We are conditioned from an early age to strive for things outside of ourselves: success, possessions, and validation from others. The narrative that external achievements are the key to inner happiness is so deeply ingrained that we often don't question it. But what if the belief that success brings peace is a lie? Epicurus, an ancient Greek philosopher, argued that external possessions and social status are not the true sources of peace. In his view, happiness is not found in what we accumulate or how others perceive us, but in cultivating a simple life, grounded in self-awareness and the management of our desires. He believed that the pursuit of excess, whether in wealth, power, or possessions, ultimately leads to dissatisfaction and inner turmoil. In fact, the more we chase after external validation, the more we entrench ourselves in dissatisfaction, creating an internal dissonance that blocks the very peace we seek. In a world where social media showcases the highlights of other people's lives, we are often led to believe that peace is synonymous with perfection. We compare our real, messy lives to the carefully curated images of success, happiness, and wealth. This constant comparison generates feelings of inadequacy and yearning, pushing us to chase after the illusion of perfection. The more we desire, the further peace seems to slip from our grasp. In modern life, the idea that more is better has become a fundamental belief. The pursuit of more money, more experiences, more achievements, has created a culture of constant striving, one that leaves us perpetually dissatisfied. The more we acquire, the more we are led to believe that happiness is just one more step away. But this cycle is never-ending. No matter how much we attain, it never feels like enough. This is because the pursuit of more keeps us in a perpetual state of longing, preventing us from ever reaching true peace. At the heart of the problem lies our desires, the unnecessary desires that drive us to seek validation, status, and material wealth. These desires are rooted in the fear of being incomplete or inadequate, and they keep us trapped in a cycle of chasing things that don't ultimately fulfill us. Epicurus believed that peace comes from recognizing and eliminating unnecessary desires, focusing instead on what is essential for a content and meaningful life. Beyond the desires for more material goods or recognition, there is also a deeper existential fear that prevents us from achieving peace, the fear of death. We live in a culture that does everything it can to distract us from the reality of our mortality. Advertisements, social media, and entertainment all work to keep our focus outward, on things that provide temporary pleasure, rather than facing the deeper existential questions about life and death. This fear of death, though often unspoken, is at the core of much of our anxiety and restlessness. It is the driving force behind our desires for security, wealth, and recognition. But in avoiding our fear of death, we create an even greater internal unrest. In modern society, anxiety has become a silent epidemic. We are constantly bombarded with information, expectations, and demands. This overwhelming flood of stimuli has a profound effect on our mental health, creating feelings of constant unease, the desire to be perfect, to achieve everything, to accumulate more, and to satisfy the expectations of others. All of these contribute to a never-ending cycle of anxiety. Epicurus believed that peace of mind can only be achieved by releasing the grip of unnecessary desires and accepting life as it is. The more we resist the reality of our situation, whether it's the inevitability of aging, the fear of death, or our limitations, the more we intensify our own internal conflict. By focusing on external goals and possessions, we lose touch with the deeper aspects of our being that bring true contentment. The obsession with perfectionism and the constant striving for more ultimately robs us of our peace of mind. The constant pursuit of peace, be it through acquiring material wealth, achieving social status, or chasing fleeting experiences, seems like a noble goal. Society encourages this search, presenting happiness as a destination, something to strive for, a prize to be won. But in the process of this pursuit, peace seems to slip further away. What is the true cost of continuously chasing peace, and why does it remain so elusive? The search for peace often comes with a significant psychological and emotional toll. Many people are unknowingly trapped in a cycle of unfulfilled desires, anxiety, and the fear of missing out. FOMO. The idea that peace is something external, something that can be attained by acquiring more, whether more material possessions, more accolades, or more experiences, creates a constant state of inner conflict. The pursuit itself becomes the barrier to the very peace we seek. We are led to believe that happiness and peace lie in the future, and that they are something to be earned, achieved, or attained. But this very mindset becomes the reason we can never achieve true peace. At the heart of this issue lies the psychological and emotional toll caused by the endless chase for what is next. Unfulfilled desires can lead to frustration, disappointment, and a sense of emptiness. Every time we attain one goal, we immediately set our sights on the next. It's as though we've conditioned ourselves to never truly be satisfied. This endless yearning drains our mental and emotional energy, leaving us exhausted and dissatisfied. Epicurus, in his philosophy, argued that the pursuit of unnecessary desires is what prevents us from achieving inner peace. These desires can range from material wants, like the latest technology or designer clothes, to abstract desires, like seeking external validation or perfection in our lives. The more we believe that peace is dependent on something external, the more we push peace out of reach. And the consequence of this belief is that we are constantly dissatisfied, always longing for something more. This dissatisfaction creates a chronic emotional unrest, as we believe that peace is somewhere out there, just beyond our reach. The more we strive to fill this emptiness with external achievements, the greater the gap becomes between our desires and our inner peace. Anxiety and the fear of missing out, FOMO. In addition to unfulfilled desires, there's another force at play: anxiety, particularly FOMO, or the fear of missing out. We live in a world of constant comparison and competition, driven by social media, advertisements, and the pressure to keep up with the latest trends. The barrage of idealized images and success stories often leads to the feeling that, if we're not constantly striving, achieving, and acquiring, we are falling behind. FOMO creates an internal conflict where we are never content with what we always feel that something better is just around the corner, whether that's the next job promotion, vacation, or product. This constant dissatisfaction becomes part of our psyche, leading to persistent anxiety. The anxiety that comes from believing that we are missing out on something that others are enjoying. We live in a world that tells us, if you don't have this, you're not enough. This fear of missing out isn't just about material things. It's about the idea that we are missing the ultimate experience of life, that we are not fully living, unless we have more, experience more, and gain more. The result is that our focus shifts from appreciating the present moment to obsessively seeking the next best thing. This is where true peace is lost, in the continuous distraction of what could be, rather than appreciating what is. In this modern world, there is a constant drive to chase the next big thing, whether it's a new career opportunity, the latest technological advancement, or the newest trend in fitness and lifestyle. The idea that success and happiness are just one more purchase, achievement, or experience away is pervasive. We are conditioned to believe that peace will come once we hit a certain milestone, once we find the perfect relationship, secure the dream job, or reach a certain financial status. However, the truth is that the chase itself becomes the problem. The pursuit of success and happiness keeps us in a perpetual state of dissatisfaction, preventing us from experiencing true contentment in the present. Every time we achieve a goal or acquire something we thought would bring us peace, we immediately set our sights on the next big thing. It becomes a never-ending cycle of striving for more without ever experiencing the peace that comes with appreciating the present. The next big thing becomes a moving target, and as we chase it, we only create more distance from the peace we seek. In a society where comparison is rampant, thanks in part to social media, our sense of satisfaction becomes increasingly tied to how we measure up to others. We are constantly comparing our lives to the curated, filtered versions of other people's lives that we see online. This comparison creates a false sense of inadequacy. If others are achieving more, experiencing more, or appearing happier, then we feel that we too must achieve those things in order to be content. This constant comparison is one of the most insidious forces that prevents peace. The moment we measure our lives against others is the moment we lose touch with the peace that comes from simply accepting ourselves. We are constantly chasing the idea of what we think happiness and success look like for others, rather than defining it for ourselves. We become trapped in the belief that if we do not achieve what others have, we are somehow falling short. The result? We live with a constant sense of inadequacy, never feeling like we are enough in our own eyes. This dissatisfaction breeds inner unrest and anxiety. True peace is never achieved when we are constantly looking over our shoulder, wondering if we measure up to someone else's standard. The emotional toll of constantly chasing the next big thing and comparing ourselves to others significantly impacts mental well-being. Anxiety, depression, and stress levels rise as we internalize the belief that we need to be more in order to be happy. But in trying to meet these societal standards, we push ourselves away from the very thing we are seeking: peace of mind. Furthermore, our relationships suffer as well. When we are too focused on our personal achievements or on keeping up with others, we lose sight of the importance of connection. Genuine relationships require vulnerability, acceptance, and contentment with the present. But if we are constantly comparing our success to others or chasing the next achievement, we can't be truly present with those we love. The result is a fragmented sense of self, one that is disconnected from both others and from the peace that can be found in acceptance. As we chase external markers of success, we fail to nurture the relationships and inner peace that are necessary for true happiness. The search for peace often traps us because we are looking in the wrong places. True peace is not found in external validation or material success, but in accepting life as it is, with all its imperfections and uncertainties. When we stop comparing ourselves to others and start appreciating what we have, we begin to align ourselves with the peace that comes from within. By letting go of the chase and embracing the present, we unlock the true peace we have been seeking all along. In a world that often defines success by how much we have and how much we do, it can be difficult to imagine that true peace lies not in achievement but in simplicity. Yet Epicurus, an ancient Greek philosopher, offers a radically different perspective. He believed that peace, true, lasting peace, was not something to be attained through external success, but through internal tranquility and the elimination of unnecessary desires. Epicurus's philosophy revolves around the idea that happiness and peace are found by simplifying our lives, reducing our desires to the essentials, and cultivating a calm mind. His teachings were not about chasing external pleasures or accumulating wealth, but about achieving serenity through self-awareness, friendship, and the pursuit of intellectual pleasure. The heart of his philosophy lies in the concepts of ataraxia and aponia, both of which are crucial in understanding how to find peace according to his thought. Epicurus taught that the ultimate goal of human life is ataraxia, a state of inner peace and freedom from anxiety. It is the peace of mind that comes from being at ease with oneself and the world, no longer weighed down by worries, desires, or fears. According to Epicurus, ataraxia is the highest form of happiness, and it can be achieved by removing the distractions and desires that cloud our minds. The second key concept in Epicurean philosophy is aponia, which refers to the absence of physical pain. Aponia is not simply about the absence of discomfort. It's the freedom from bodily suffering that comes when we minimize our desires for unnecessary pleasures that can lead to overindulgence and pain. Together, ataraxia and aponia form the foundation of Epicurus's idea of happiness, peace of mind, and freedom from physical distress. Epicurus was not advocating for complete asceticism or denying ourselves all pleasures. Rather, he encouraged a life in which we sought only the necessary and natural pleasures, avoiding the excessive and unnatural ones that lead to turmoil, anxiety, and dissatisfaction. In other words, true peace is found not in having more, but in wanting less. One of the most profound aspects of Epicurus's philosophy is his emphasis on living in the moment. In a society where we are often consumed with future goals, past regrets, and the endless pursuit of what we don't have, Epicurus urged his followers to focus on the present moment. He taught that we can find joy and contentment in the simple pleasures of life, whether it's a quiet meal with friends, a walk in nature, or a peaceful conversation. These moments, while small and seemingly insignificant, bring true happiness because they are free from the anxiety and discontent that come from chasing after things that we don't need. In today's fast-paced world, this advice is incredibly relevant. We are often consumed by the fear of missing out on experiences or accumulating more things, constantly looking forward to the next event or possession. But Epicurus reminds us that true peace comes when we embrace the present, when we find fulfillment in the here and now, rather than in some distant, imagined future. This shift in perspective is not just a mental exercise. It requires a conscious effort to slow down and be present in our lives. Epicurus's emphasis on mindfulness aligns with modern practices like meditation and mindfulness, which encourage us to become more aware of our thoughts, emotions, and surroundings. In modern society, we are taught from an early age that more is better. We are bombarded with messages that equate success with wealth, possessions, and status. However, Epicurus argued that the relentless pursuit of material goods leads not to happiness, but to anxiety and dissatisfaction. The more we chase after material possessions, the more we feed our desires, creating a never-ending cycle of longing. We may achieve success or acquire things that we thought would bring us peace, but soon we find ourselves wanting more. This cycle is exhausting and ultimately unsatisfying, as the pursuit of things only leads to a temporary sense of fulfillment. Epicurus believed that the key to peace was to reduce unnecessary desires, the desires for things that do not contribute to our well-being or happiness. He advocated for a simple life, where we focus on the pleasures that truly matter: good food, meaningful relationships, and intellectual fulfillment. When we learn to satisfy our basic needs and let go of the constant desire for more, we free ourselves from the anxiety that comes with the pursuit of excess. Epicurus's philosophy encourages us to embrace gratitude and mindfulness as essential practices for finding peace. By focusing on what we have, rather than what we lack, we can cultivate a deeper sense of contentment. This requires a shift in mindset, from a focus on material possessions to a focus on the simple joys of life. Mindfulness, as Epicurus would advocate, involves fully experiencing the present moment without judgment. It means savoring the simple pleasures, being fully present with friends and family, and appreciating the beauty of nature and the world around us. When we stop chasing the future and start appreciating the present, we experience true contentment. Another key practice for achieving peace is self-reflection, the ability to pause and consider our desires, motivations, and actions. Epicurus encouraged his followers to reflect on their lives and the things they pursued. Are we chasing after things that bring us genuine happiness, or are we simply trying to fill a void with fleeting pleasures? By asking these questions, we can better align our actions with our true values and desires, which leads to greater peace of mind. Epicurus's philosophy is not just a theory. It is a practical guide for living a peaceful, contented life. To apply his teachings in our modern world, here are some actionable steps. Practice gratitude. Take time each day to reflect on the things you are grateful for. Instead of focusing on what you lack, focus on the abundance in your life. Simplify your life. Reduce the number of distractions and material possessions that clutter your mind. Focus on the things that truly bring you joy and contentment. Cultivate meaningful relationships. Spend time with those who bring you genuine happiness and connection. Nurture friendships and family relationships that are based on mutual respect and shared values. Embrace mindfulness. Practice mindfulness in everyday activities. Whether you're eating, walking, or spending time with loved ones, be fully present and enjoy the moment. Reflect on your desires. Regularly examine your desires and motivations. Are they aligned with your values? Are they essential for your well-being, or are they just fleeting wants? By incorporating these practices into your life, you can begin to align yourself with the teachings of Epicurus and find a deeper sense of peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. As we continue our search for peace, it becomes evident that the truth of peace is far more profound than any external condition we have been taught to chase. For most of us, peace has been presented as a distant destination, a place to reach once we have enough wealth, success, or status. We have been conditioned to believe that once we accomplish certain goals or acquire specific things, we will finally attain peace of mind. Yet, the greatest realization is this: peace is not a product of external achievements or acquisitions. It is a state of mind. Epicurus, through his wisdom, offers a radically simple yet profound truth. Peace is not found outside of ourselves, but within. True peace is about the alignment of our desires with reality, rather than the relentless pursuit of an idealized future or an unattainable version of happiness. It is about recognizing that the chase for more wealth, more success, more validation, only takes us farther from the tranquility we seek. The final realization is simple. Peace is not something to be reached. It is something to be embraced. It is not about waiting for the right moment, the perfect conditions, or the ideal future. It is about recognizing that peace is available right now, if we are willing to change how we perceive and prioritize life. The pursuit of peace in this sense becomes an illusion, and what we are truly seeking is acceptance of the present moment as it is. When we stop defining our happiness and peace by external factors, like career achievements, material wealth, or even the approval of others, we break free from the cycle of longing and dissatisfaction. This shift in perception is transformative. We stop seeking happiness in the future and begin to see that it is always available in the present, if only we allow ourselves to experience it. Epicurus spoke about this shift through his ideas of ataraxia, inner peace, and aponia, absence of pain. He emphasized that we often overlook the simple pleasures and joys that exist within our immediate reality because we are too preoccupied with an idealized version of life. When we let go of our unrealistic desires for things that society tells us will bring happiness, we begin to realize that we have everything we need for peace right now. One of the most powerful obstacles to peace is fear. Fear of failure, fear of missing out, fear of aging, fear of death. These fears often stem from societal conditioning and our attachment to ideas of success and perfection. In truth, the fear of losing what we don't have yet, whether it's money, success, relationships, or experiences, only fuels the anxiety that keeps us from enjoying the present. The fear of death, for example, is often cited as one of the greatest sources of anxiety and inner conflict. In Western society, death is a taboo subject, something that we avoid thinking about or talking about. Yet, Epicurus believed that the fear of death is unnecessary and counterproductive to peace. He famously argued that death is nothing to us, for when we are alive, death is not present, and when death comes, we will no longer be aware of it. By accepting the inevitability of death, we free ourselves from the anxiety it brings. Similarly, by confronting our other fears, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of judgment, we open the door to peace. Fear is often a result of the gap between our expectations and reality, and when we stop fearing the things we cannot control, we begin to align with the flow of life as it is. As we release unnecessary fears, we also must rethink our desires. The true cause of much of our anxiety and inner unrest lies in the desires we chase that are rooted in external validation or the pursuit of fleeting pleasure. Desires for things like wealth, power, recognition, and status are often driven by the fear of inadequacy or the belief that we are not enough as we are. Yet, Epicurus's wisdom teaches that our desires should be aligned with what is necessary for our well-being, rather than chasing after things that will never truly satisfy us. Desires for luxury goods, the latest technology, or the approval of others only lead to further dissatisfaction. Each new desire triggers a new pursuit, a new longing, and the cycle continues. True peace lies in simplifying our desires to what is truly essential, things like food, shelter, companionship, and intellectual fulfillment. By learning to distinguish between necessary desires and unnecessary ones, we create space for a deeper form of contentment that is not dependent on external circumstances. In essence, peace is not about rejecting pleasure or denying ourselves. It is about embracing the simple, natural pleasures that bring contentment without the endless chase for more. When we focus on the essentials and stop prioritizing what doesn't matter, we free ourselves from the shackles of desire and begin to experience a peace that transcends external circumstances. The ultimate realization is that peace is within, waiting to be uncovered. It doesn't come from acquiring more or achieving perfection. It comes from accepting life as it is and recognizing that what we seek has always been available to us in the present moment. The paradox of life is that by letting go of the chase for peace and happiness, we finally find them. By shifting our focus from external circumstances to inner contentment, we unlock a deeper peace that cannot be shaken by the ups and downs of life. We realize that peace is not the absence of external noise, but the ability to remain calm and centered within ourselves. Through the wisdom of Epicurus, we learn that the pursuit of material wealth, external validation, and status only traps us in a cycle of longing and dissatisfaction. Instead, peace comes when we learn to simplify our desires, appreciate the present moment, and find contentment in what is essential. When we stop looking for happiness outside of ourselves and begin to cultivate it within, we discover a lasting peace that no external achievement can provide. The true power of peace lies in its simplicity. It is not found in the grandiose achievements or fleeting pleasures that society tells us to chase, but in the quiet moments of acceptance, self-awareness, and contentment. When we embrace simplicity and let go of unnecessary desires and fears, we reclaim the peace that is our birthright. And in doing so, we realize that we are already whole, already at peace, and that the peace we seek has been here all along, waiting for us to accept it. In the end, peace is not a destination to reach, but a state to embody. It is the embrace of the present moment, the acceptance of our imperfections, and the understanding that true happiness lies not in what we acquire, but in how we live. True peace is found in simplicity, authenticity, and self-acceptance. And once we realize this, we are free to live fully, peacefully, and authentically, without the burden of chasing something that was never truly out of reach.